4-1 to Manchester United. A big response tonight in the Europa League against Real Betis. A very good Real Betis, by the way. Currently fifth, very close to pushing into the top four positions in La Liga for anybody that doesn't know. And of course, this game fell only 3 days after one of the most humiliating days in the club's history. There had to be a response. And there was inside the opening 6 minutes. Marcus Rashford putting the team ahead. And you thought, okay, playing well, moving the ball nicely. More chances were created after that point. And United were looking good. And then we conceded a goal that should never have stood. A clear and deliberate handball from the Real Betis player, but not picked up by VAR. We've seen that a lot this season with a number of teams. United conceded around the 33, 34-minute point. I'm actually going to check I'm right on that. 32 minutes. And there was a bit of a confidence crisis from then. This Man United team lost its way. Maybe some flashbacks to Sunday. And you think to yourself, can the captain, can Bruno, can Casemiro, can these players come together at halftime, reassert themselves, and take control of the game? And absolutely, we could. The first thing, the manager made the change. The low came off. AWB came in, and that was it. No more attacks for the rest of the game for Real Betis. Defensively, shut them out. Excellent on the ball again today, but his final ball and cross isn't the best in the world. But everything else AWB is doing at the moment is top class indeed. Antony had probably his best performance outside of the Barcelona game in that second half. The goal was absolutely sublime, and this kid's got a lot to learn. Should have squared the ball in a lot of people's minds to put the game beyond doubt. I'm going to remain very consistent here. I want my attackers shooting in those positions and taking responsibility. I've always said it. It's a risk, but it's a risk versus reward thing. Annoyed he didn't get the second goal there. He had a couple of more chances, but a very good performance from him. Casemiro back to his brilliant best. Defensively, we were absolutely sound once AWB came in and the left-hand side stopped being exploited. Rashford, of course, getting the goal that I've already mentioned. But I want to shout out Captain Bruno Fernandes tonight. There was the outrageaholics were talking about he's not trusted by Ten Hag. That's why he plays out on the left or the right now. He never plays centrally. When was his last good game? He should be sold. He shouldn't be at the club anymore. And then bang, he come up tonight with a captain's performance. And this doesn't even put us through to the next round. This doesn't win us a trophy. And by no stretch of the imagination, again, is my first quenched. But this is what I knew Bruno would do. This is what I knew the team would do. Confidence will be back after this game. They'll go into the Southampton games with their chests out and their chins up and some pride back in them. You saw the confidence flowing towards the end of that game, the way the ball was being moved around. It could have been 5, it could have been 6, it could have been 7. It was that good a performance in the second half. A lot of people, especially rivals, will still go on about the 7-0 defeat. And I'm telling you this now, after that performance, after that win, it's over for me. It's done for me. I care not about it anymore. I'm focusing purely on the season ahead. Of course, when it comes to debates and when it comes to arguments with rival fans and debating over who the best team is and great moments and bad moments, it will come up. But in terms of this season, my mouth is wiped and we are moving on because unlike a lot of people that are bantering United, we have something to play for this year. You can lie that you would give up trophies to see that happen to us again. You can lie that it means more than trophies, but it's as transparent as a window. We see through you, and I'm smiling because I'm happy again today. We dropped 3 points at the weekend. That was it. Today, we take a 3-goal advantage into the second leg of a major tournament. I think we'll knock Betis out now. That puts us into the quarterfinals. Who knows what happens after that? United have got a great chance of silverware here, especially with a performance like that. And you know what? When I looked at the final goal for us, goal number 4, Weghorst has been frustrating me in the last few games. His touch isn't that great. He often overhits and underhits passes. He isn't that good. But you know what? He embodies attitude-wise exactly what I want at Manchester United. And he kept trying and plugging away. And as soon as he got his goal, you saw that I think maybe the angst and anxiety and frustration from Sunday, his desperation to score a goal at Old Trafford at the Stretford end. And I want to see that. I want to see that passion. I want to see that desire. as a United fan, made me smile. It made me happy. Not just for Weghorst as an individual, but I know these players care. And now they were accused of giving up at the weekend. And I know Rashford played it down. I felt they did give up. I felt they did give up. But as a Man United fan who is falling in love with this team, who believes in the direction that Ten Hag is taking us, and the only way my mind about this changes is should our current owners stay. We're moving in the right direction, and one bad result does not define us, our season, the manager's tenure. We bounced back tonight, 4-1, smashed Betis to pieces, great response, and I'm proud of everybody, but I'm massively proud of Bruno Fernandes because people wanted him sold on Monday morning, and he steps up today and doesn't just boss the game. Doesn't just boss the game. In terms of what he doesn't control the midfield. That isn't his job. He's our creative midfielder. His job is to create. Today, sets a goal up, scores a goal, and was just, as soon as the swagger came back into the team, when the real confidence came back, you saw him come to live and purr. And with the quality that's now surrounding him in this squad and what's going to be added to this team in future, I'll make this claim now, clip me up, get me ready. He will win more major trophies at Manchester United, not just one. He will score and assist and create and be influential in games. But he's also, in my opinion, a stellar leader. He's a stellar leader that had one bad game. And I said this the other day to Big Steve. I've seen Arsenal fans loyally stand behind their captain when he went to prison. He came out and played for them and they stood by him. I've seen Liverpool fans stand behind one of their best ever players in Luis Suarez and their captain after they firstly after Luis Suarez committed racial abuse against Evra, and then the captain sanctioned the team wearing T-shirts defending him. I've seen Chelsea fans stand by John Terry after what he did. So yes, I am not embarrassed to stand behind Bruno Fernandes after in a single match, he decided not to track a runner. It frustrated me and he was condemned for it, but there is more than enough. It is, when you look at the crimes that footballers have committed on and off the pitch, it is beyond forgivable. Unless you already hate Bruno Fernandes, unless you want him to fail, unless you predicted him falling away from Manchester United, falling out of favor with Erik Ten Hag, being a flop, being sold, and you just don't have the cojones as a man to admit you were wrong. You are a coward. You are a yellow belly. You are a charlatan. And you don't want to admit you were wrong about something, so you continue to press. And we saw it this week with the outrageaholics. The outrageaholics, they got a shot. They got a shot of outrage. And they're on a bender now, and they're desperate for it. I saw it in the, half time. Drop this player, get rid of this. The manager don't know what he's doing. Why is this player on? He's got to go. He ain't good enough. When's he ever going to deliver? I told you Bruno shouldn't start. It's a disgrace. And then you see the second half go brilliantly well. They're outrage. The addiction to the outrage is back. The outrageaholics are back. But they got slapped down tonight. Another big L for them. Of course, be angry about the weekend, but you move your mouth. It's all done and dusted and over. That's it. United, an exceedingly good chance. By the way, if we lose 4-0 to Real Betis, then maybe I'm in the mud. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all in the return fixture. And by the way, yet no rivals have turned up backstage today. No, can't see any of them. No one. No one's here. All they're doing is giving themselves diabetes by drinking 7-Up. That's all I can see, I'm seeing Gooners drinking 7-Ups at me. You didn't even play in the game. But you know what? Your next match reaction, I'm bringing Coke Zero to represent how many Champions Leagues you have. That's what I'm going to do. It's getting desperate now. It's getting desperate. But you know what? Proud of the team tonight. Let's go to some of your comments before the panel come out. Maiden here says, Sel Fernandes. They did say Sel Fernandes. Can you imagine? There's something to this Palestri kid. Listen, I mean, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant in the build up to that goal. He was really, really good indeed. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. He had a bad touch when he went through on goal and maybe should have scored. There's some talent in there indeed. I wouldn't mind seeing him play a little bit more. I would definitely like to see him use more on the wing than Fernandes, although Fernandes does well out there. And on Fernandes going out to the wing, watch his heat maps when he plays in an AM role. He drifts out to the right-hand side anyway. Starting positions matter not. Focus on the heat maps when players are touching the ball in attacking positions. That's more important. This here says, like I said, Terry, one loss doesn't define United's season. Ten Hag moving us forward. He absolutely is. He absolutely is moving us forward. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. United about to go on another mad run. Masterclass from Bruno. So happy he scored. And listen, the game wasn't as big and it wasn't against a team as good. But I'm just going to say this now. I'm going to wait for the comments to tell me. I'm going to read the comments. There was another captain at Man United that scored almost an identical header in a European game once upon a time. Not as big a goal, not as against a good team. But tell me if you guys remember who scored that goal, write it in the comment section now, people. Also, smash the like and the share button as well, my people. Get that smash for us right now. We haven't even chatted about Rashford scoring again. Also, just seeing the stat here on the screen. I want to pause my screen so that I don't think I can pause the screen. No, don't let me do it. Rashford there, moving on to 24 European goals for the club. Just 2 behind Paul Scholes, only 4 behind Dennis Law, 5 behind Ryan Giggs. Still a long way to go to catch Ruud van Nistelrooy and Wayne Rooney. Plus, of course, he needs to add those Champions League trophies to it as well. And yes, it was Keno versus Juve. And I know when that goal went in, that's the first thing that shot into my mind was a captain's goal. And I love this guy. He isn't perfect. He isn't impervious to making mistakes. He's not inflammable. But he's my captain. I'm going to stand by him because I'm falling in love with this team. We're moving in the right direction. And as much as rivals want to denounce it, and by the way, what you'll see, you saw it today, people start talking about the 7-0 again. You'll see it before we play Southampton at the weekend on Sunday. They'll start talking about the 7-0 again to distract you from what Man United are really doing. Rivals are meant to do that. Let them. No issue with it. Man United fans, do not fall foul to it. Do not show your don't show your ass. And equally, don't be so weak and desperate for attention that you go, right, I'm gonna side with the rival so they like and share me and think I'm great. Don't do that to your football club. If you truly believe it, then say it. Don't be a don't be a to outrage. Don't do it, my friend. It's a bad, bad look indeed. Terry Salty. Bruv, I am happy as pig in shit. I'm buzzing. My team just won a big game. And again, I'm not going to lie to you. I was nervous before this game. We didn't win. That's what I said after the 7-0. Go back to what I said. The reaction is what I was more worried about than the result. If we go on to win this trophy, finish 3rd in the league, have a great summer in the transfer window, of course I'll always remember this happened, but I won't care at all. Not for 1 second. It will not be something that keeps me awake at night. Terry, did Weghorst celebrate remind you of another striker's celebration? It reminded me of Ruud van Nistelrooy against Arsenal after he scored that penalty, which was a redemption goal for him. Like the arms in the corner, Dutch. Listen, I was really happy for the lad because he works hard for us. He isn't good enough. If he stays at the club next year as a backup, someone that we throw on for the last 10 minutes of games, plays in League Cup matches and stuff, cool. We need better, though. But I was happy for him. I was really happy for him as an individual because he does, for me, what's a prerequisite of this club, and that's work hard. He absolutely does. Only Mbappe and Haaland have scored more than Rashford this season in Europe's top 5 leagues. Look, Rashford's having the season of the ages. And he was looking a little tired. I'm glad he came off because the guy, has been absolutely run ragged. And listen, there's lots of other teams that have played in Europe tonight where their star players haven't scored, or they've got work to do in the second leg. People saying it's only a Europa League goal. I don't care. It's a goal. Again, when Rashford retires, no one's going to go back and psychoanalyze who his goals were against, where those teams were in the league, what competitions the European goals were in, who were they playing, what was the circumstance of the game, was it the first goal, the third goal, the 6th goal no one does that. You just look at the goals and go, right, there we go. People only overanalyze in real time because they're jealous. Credit Ten Hag for picking the same team. That's big balls. Look, I'm going to save that super chat. I'm going to leave that star because I want to talk about that to the panel when they come out. We've got KJ, we've got Dizzy, we've got man like Josh, we've got Ads. Ads hasn't been on in a while, but Ads is joining us. Stephen as a rival is coming on as well. And I'm going to share the link if anybody else wants to come on tonight and have their say. I want to hear from rivals as well. Whether it's banter or whether it's congratulations, I don't care. I want to hear from rivals tonight on the terrace also. Get yourselves on here, people. Very important to hear from you. But yes, Rashford, his goal was phenomenal as well, by the way. His goal was absolutely top drawer. And what is that for him? Is that 26, 27 goals for him now this season? I don't even know. I haven't even looked, if I'm being honest with you. I was so nervous about the game. That can't be right. 24 goals? Is it 24 goals? No, he must have more than that. I don't know. Maybe it's only 24 goals. Yeah, they haven't put that one up. It's 25 goals. I think 25 goals for him. Sensational. Or 20, is it 26 goals? 26 then, cool. Yeah, I thought it was 25. Sorry, 26. I'll take that. I thought it was 25. Anyway, we 26. Why have I got 25? Where have I got that from? Why haven't I got what's the other goal that I'm missing here? Let me just have a little look at this. 6, 5, 4. Does that work out? 1 and 5 is 15, 20. Oh, yeah, 26. Yeah, 26. Jeez. 26 goals for Arashi. I love him, Terry, but David De Gea has got to go. That's another great one for the talking point as well. Yeah. We'll speak about that when the panel comes out tonight, because that's definitely an interesting one. And in fact, we'll get the panel out now because we'll move on to some of these talking points. Hit the like and the share buttons. Let's go. Good evening, everybody. A big result for Man United tonight. KJ, a huge reaction needed, and the team gave that.
Yeah, it's perfect. In the end, obviously, we made it hard for ourselves in the middle of that first half, but the team showed the mentality. They showed that they wanted to fight back. I didn't feel like there was any hangover. I just felt like these guys are just getting into the game. They're trying to find a foot in. And they got over the line in the end. That second half was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We could have had 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? If we had Liverpool's 8 shots on target, 7 goals, that kind of ratio, we would have been blasting these guys away. It was a very good performance in the end, and I'm happy. And this, for me, I don't see why everyone was panicking. Honestly, everyone was panicking. People were coming out flipping, saying, we're going to go downhill from here. You got rivals saying this down the third about we might finish 4th at best. We're going to get knocked out the Europa League. We're going to get knocked out the FA Cup.
Fernandes take the captaincy from
Fernandes take the captaincy away, sell this player, bench that player, banish that player. Like, people are fuming because of the lineup. People are fuming because of the lineup, and it's just like, let Ten Hag do his work. It's a 7, yes, we all know it's embarrassing, but that's done now. We've come back. We've made a 4-1 win in a crucial Europa League tie. We can go into that second leg with not as much stress. We can maybe rotate a bit, and we keep it moving and we keep it stepping. So I'm happy, man. Happy. Excellent performances today. There's a few players I would want to talk about towards the end in the show. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Pellistri. Let's go. We can chat.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I hear. I mean, we just got, rather than getting everyone to do an individual match review, because obviously, like, we'll pretty much all be saying the same type of things. We'll just jump straight into that. I mean, in terms of the game today, I wanted to touch on the first bit you said there, KJ, around there being a hangover. You weren't too worried. There was a lot of people, though, Dizzy, in the build-up to this game. Forget rivals. Rivals are meant to do it. Like, we're not talking about them. So rivals listening, and you're just being salty. No, I'm not talking about you. You're meant to bring this up. This is how you're meant to behave. But a lot of United fans, kind of, the seasonal fizzle out, actually have been questioning what the manager's been doing. This has been coming for a long time. Where do you think that come from?
Bro, the egos, bro, you know what it is? It's obvious. People, United fans' egos were bruised on Sunday, and for good reason. So the reaction was so crazy. And you can't back down from that reaction once you're a trusted voice in the Twitter spaces. You can't if you make a statement, you kind of have to stick with it. So if Fernandes needs to be stripped of the captaincy, then you said that, now you got to stick with that opinion, even if it is ridiculous. You got to drop XYZ. Some players never gonna play for the shirt again. Those type of opinions, they got to stick with them. For me personally, I was just waiting for Thursday. As soon as Sunday was over, I was like, all right, bring on Thursday, because the sooner we can play games, the sooner this will be over. And there's no way that our season is gonna fall apart from here. Come on, we lose a game every 22 games or so. Come on, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we got to trust the manager. We got to trust the captain. Everyone was so hyperbolic. We were here on Sunday, we got thumped. But at the same time, I was like, yo, we have Betis on Thursday. That's another chance of silverware. We, even though we equalized, we gave up the equalizer, we still came back and smashed them in the second half. And that's what we were looking for. So for me, I gotta talk about
No, keep going. I was just saying to KJ,
Oh.
we'll bring Steve Sting dropped out. We'll bring him back in a second.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
sorry,
got you. Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah, Bruno was just, Bruno was being Bruno. He was all over the place. He was doing whatever the team needed, and for me, he set the tone and energy and desire for the entire squad. So I'm very proud of the boys.
So, yep.
Yeah, a few people saying I need to update the result to 4-1. I swear it says 4-1.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it says 4-1 bottom right.
Yeah, it says 4-1 on.
Is it the thumbnail? Once I'll check for you.
No, the thumbnail says 4-1 as well. Yeah, it all says 4-1. I'm not too sure.
Y'all are trolling us because
yeah,
y'all
maybe
know the
they're
actual
trolling me there.
team, bro.
But
You know what I will say?
Yeah, go on, Diz. Go on, bro.
You know what I would say? I think United fans' ego. I think not our ego. I think our confidence is still a little fragile. Not me personally. I trust the process. I fully back the process. But I think a lot of United fans, they don't fully believe that the days of us being trash are like all the way behind us. So any one bad result could be the start of a collapse that they're always waiting for, and they always kind of want to be the first ones to say, "I told you so."
I think, yeah. Do you know what it is? I think there's an element of fans who are there's PTSD going, reverting back to normal, but then there are some fans, and I'm going to be blunt with you, they only get attention when we're bad. There are people that were running spaces with 10,000 people when we were rubbish under Ollie. They tweet things now, and 4 people might like it. That attention, and I'm not even joking. That attention you get when you listen, because I've been there and done it. That attention you get where you tweet things or you have a video that does well, when it first happens, it gives you an adrenaline rush. It's like a dopamine release that you've never had before. And when you get it and then it goes away, sometimes there is a desperation to get it back. And I think it goes away from the football and it becomes about human nature. And there's criticizing, because I criticize Antony in some tweets today, but there are people like, he's trash. He's never going to do anything for the club. And he's just scored. Listen, I know he didn't get the winner, but his goal for me was the most important goal tonight because it got the team relaxed.
The deadlock.
That's 2 European games on the bounce where he has stepped up and delivered. Has he been perfect? No. Do I want him to improve more? Absolutely. But this weird knee-jerk reaction from Man United fans of, right, when we buy players and when we start a new project, we need to be playing football like peak Barcelona, and every player needs to be practically perfect at every moment in every single game. And equally, if the player isn't the exact profile that I enjoy watching, I'm going to hate on him. It is the weirdest way I've ever seen football fans consume football. You're never going to get that. It's never going to happen. You need to be more open-minded. Mo, I'm going to go to ads in a minute, but Mo, as a rival, what did you make of the reaction performance tonight?
I'm not a rival, but to be honest, I'm one of the believers in Ten Hag from the beginning of the season. One of the things I said that you can see the footprint from the first game you played, the friendly game you played against Liverpool pre-season. You can see what this guy was trying to do. That loss against Liverpool, though, I thought it was maybe a fluke or something. It doesn't reflect actually the difference between Liverpool and Man United. Man United have been way better than Liverpool this year. And that's actually, if you talk logic, Man United should have won this game based on the evidence before the game. However, maybe Ten Hag was a little bit arrogant. Maybe Ten Hag got it wrong, and it reflected on everybody on the pitch in the second half. Today, he took the piss and played the same exact lineup that played last Saturday or Sunday. So for me, he's like, go on, prove me that you deserve these spots. And yes, it was 1-1 the first half, but you never felt that Man United were not in control. I'm not sure about you guys. I was watching the game, I'm like, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. You're in control. Even Dallo that came off, it looked like he knew where to be. And Antony, though, about Antony, I wanted to say, I'm not his biggest fan. However, you can see that the technicalities, right? There is no trash player that will score this goal. It's not gonna cut left foot, top corner. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get a Sunday League guy.
Scored, I believe, if I can remember, he scored 1 or 2 goals this season that's landed in the right.
I don't like him, KJ. I don't like him.
He scored. Listen to this. He scored 1 or 2 goals that have landed in the right-hand side of the goal. All of them have landed in the left-hand side.
So maybe he needs confidence then, because it looks like he has the technicality. However, he hasn't been great. Even this game, by the way, a lot of people on Twitter wanted him out before he scored because he was giving the ball away. He wasn't actually advancing with the ball enough. But maybe he needed this goal. I'm not his biggest fan. I think Sancho is a better player for me, just for me. And again, Sancho is a confidence player. Maybe Antony needed this goal. But Again, the team proved that under Ten Hag, you're still in the right place. The process is happening. It's going. The development is going. The confidence after 1-1 to get 3 goals. And like you created probably about 6 clear-cut chances apart from these goals. That's not easy.
On Antony, he denied us probably the best team goal we probably will score all season by not putting it across or shooting his right foot. That would have been such a beautiful goal. But this is the thing about Antony. Like we know what he is right now. He's 22 years old, super raw. Right now, I'm calling him one trick Tony, Pony Tony. One trick Pony Tony. That's what I'm calling him because he's got that one. He's got the one thing: the cut inside, left foot shot, left foot cross. If he's willing to actually listen, because he seems stubborn and hot-headed, if he's willing to listen, let go of his Brazilian pride, and actually learn how to use the right foot, be confident to go on the outside. We've got a good player on our hands. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's going to be worth the 90 million, 89 million that we spent for him. Like that is not his fault. He can't help that. But him as a player, there's things to work with there. But he just needs to be able to put down whatever is blocking him and go for it.
To add to what you say, and I'm going to get the Man United people here on the panel. But when you pay 80 million, you're expecting goals, assists, crosses every game, being more effective inside the game, being more adventurous. You're not. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's not his fault. However, you spend that much money.
I put that 80 million down to our directors because we took it too late. If we would have bought him earlier, I think we would have saved money on him personally. I think we would have gone for 30 million cheaper personally.
I think Josh, you're right. But equally, Mo, I get your point completely. I want more from him. But there is this thing. And again, I think there's three things at play here. And it's because I don't want to put everybody in the same category. One, some people just won't like him. So you got to be fair there. Some just won't like what he does. Two, some people like the idea of him, but they're addicted to instant gratification. They want it now. They have no... Lee Gunner's one of these people. Well, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And if you should be able to deliver straight away or you're not it. How many players, like you could probably name out of the 20,000 professional players of the last 2 decades, how many at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 are it, perfect, performing at 10 out of 10 every single week? Very, very few. That's first and foremost. And the third group, again, they can't handle banter. So they get bantered by rivals. And rather than being able to take, like I do, I take all the Antony slander and I don't succumb to it. And when he banged in a worldie like that, they're the ones who look stupid. It's like rivals are going to say he's crap, even if he's good. People call Bukayo Saka and Phil Foden crap. So what do you think they're going to do to Antony, whether he's good or bad? Stand by your players. I understand being angry at Man United when we're struggling to make top 4, when we're not winning trophies, when we're not moving in the right direction. But for me, we're past that now. We're moving in the right direction. Grow a pair, develop thicker skin, and stop at every opportunity look to side with rivals for a safety net to slag off your own players. It's crazy to me. Antony is not the finished article. He can be infuriating. But that's 7 goals for him now this season. And look, the goal against Arsenal, huge. The goal against Everton, equalizing when we were a goal down, massive. The goal against Barcelona, the winner to put us to this stage, a very important goal tonight. Now, I want more from him, but remember, you don't spend 80 million pounds on a player for them and you judge them on their first season. Let's see what he does throughout the course of his Man United career. That's the 4th time this season he has been clutch for us. Now, if he's clutched 4 or 5 times a season every year for 5, 6, 7 years and then improves on the other elements, he is going to be a worthwhile signing. Man United fans have just got to demand more, but relax with the attacks. Relax the attacks on Antony because they're a little bit too much, in my opinion. We've touched on him a little bit tonight, but I wanted to kind of delve a little bit more into what you thought of Bruno, because I think Bruno was the most under pressure player tonight, Josh. With everything that's been said, the lies that Gary Neville made up about him asking to come off, Man United fans wanting him to be sold, every media outlet destroying him all week. What did you make of his response as the Man United captain tonight?
It was fantastic. And I gained confidence from watching Bruno all over the pitch. I was like, oh, Bruno's ready to go. Everyone's going to follow him. He's going to bring everyone on his coattails. And as soon as he scored, response to all the haters, I can't hear y'all. I can't hear y'all. And I love it. And I love his response. I love his determination. And I love how much he fights for the badge. Like, he's one of the players that epitomizes the effort required to play at our great club. And I just love it every time he plays. And then when he scores and assists, even sometimes when he doesn't score and assists and he gets that key pass, you know, that hockey assist, as they call it, to set up the other goals. And I just appreciate what he does for our squad.
Bro, it's almost as if rival fans don't want to, well, not even rivals, sorry. It's almost as if fans in general don't want to listen to Ten Hag. Anytime he gets the opportunity, he says, Bruno's really important for me. He's my captain. He plays every single minute. He plays in different positions for us. What he does off the ball is really important. And every week, fans will say, what does he actually do? It makes absolutely
no, but as a player, he's very good. But you believe that he's a captain, as a captain material. You believe that he is the future captain for Man United.
Well, he's Ten Hag's future. I can't choose, bro. You know what I mean? He's Ten Hag's future captain by the looks of it. And I get it. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but you can see what he means to the team. And when you when you take your preferences out of it, and you look what the players and how the managers respond to him, that's how you can be like, you know what, captain material there. Because look at, I don't like dragging him because he's just not playing anymore, which is good. But look at the way they respond to Maguire. It's not the same. You know what I mean? The way they respond to Bruno, you see it. And today, he even was playing more of a deeper role today. If you watch the game, Fred was occupying the advanced places more time today, and Bruno was dictating play from deep. He chose the right times to go forward and create the opportunities in a 10 position. But more time, he was next to De Gea sometimes, collecting the ball, covering for Delo or Shaw. So the fact that he's been able to switch his role today and do it well, because everyone's scared of his ball retention, but today's ball retention was perfectly fine, in my opinion. You can see why the players love him. The players and the managers love him. And for a captain, for me, that is the most important thing. It's what they think. We can think there's other players under the sun that will be a better captain. But if the players are responding to him, if the manager can trust him to be the guy that he goes to, we just got to be like, all right, cool. Let's see what this captain can do for us in the long term. That's what we can do.
Yeah.
Footballing wise, he was very good today. Footballing wise, Bruno Fernandes always runs. And I thought that today he was not only responding to the manager, he was responding to the fans, to everybody that called for his head. He was like playing from the heart. He was like, I'm here and I'm in this club. I earned my starting position and nobody's going to move me away from this club. I felt like he was playing from the heart, which is something that when you see it, you feel like, yeah, this guy wants to be here. He doesn't want to listen to anybody.
Bro, name me a better signing for United in the last 10 years than Bruno Fernandes.
He was a bargain,
Casemiro. That was an easy one to go for.
And we have a small sample size. We don't know what he's gonna
do. Yeah, it's true. He might decide to get overweight like Ronaldo.
And bro, and this is a look. When you've got rivals in their droves, campaigning, tweeting, pleading with Man United to sell Bruno, that should be the key indicator to you that he's a serious player. Because if he was a terrible, why would rivals care about our badge being disgraced and dishonored, our club being brought into disrepute? They couldn't care less. These guys have given themselves diabetes this week drinking 7-Up. They don't care about our club. Right? Legit. And it's funny. So when you've got rivals telling you you've got to sell him, you've got to sell him, you've got to sell him, what the con people do, they get you looking here, but really you should be looking over here. That is all they're doing. They're trying to con you. There's no way you should want Bruno to leave. There's absolutely no way you should want this guy to go. And my question to people that want him out, we've got to find someone better. Name me a player now that we could buy who's attainable, who you can guarantee not only is a better technical footballer, is a better leader, will also score and assist at the same rate this guy does. His creativity and his outputs are sensational. I'm going to say this with a chest. Forget the goals and assists for a moment, even though he's got quite a few this year. This has been his best season in a Man United shirt. He has led the team to our best season in 6 years. He has led us to a point where we can win up to 3 trophies. I believe we will comfortably make it into the Champions League. And we are a handful of players and another pre-season away from genuinely challenging for this Premier League title. And if we win it next year, and I believe we've got a massive chance to, with the right signing, a couple more defenders, another midfielder, a striker like Harry Kane, with Bruno will be the captain of this team who can lead us to our first Premier League in a decade. And I think we would be utterly stupid to think about getting rid of him. Can he be
Devil's
frustrated?
advocate.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate, Terry. Devil's
go on.
advocate. Doesn't the captain material only show the character shows when you're down, not when you're up? How many times Bruno has led the team when you're down? And I
So
want to ask this question.
It's a great question. So my response would be this: Man United, since Bruno have been here, have had an amazing record of coming back in games. So there's been many occasions where we've been losing, sometimes even to rivals. It was only a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago, we were losing 1-0 at home to Man City, and he led us to a comeback. So he's done it. I've also seen us fail in some semi-finals and finals with him, not as our captain, but as a player. And he hasn't been great. I've seen the only time I've personally felt not annoyed at him or frustrated at a performance, the only time I've ever felt disappointed in him was against Liverpool. Not for the diving, not even for hitting the referee on the back. Like, again, that didn't bother me. I didn't look at it and go, I can't stand him now. I thought I shouldn't do it, but fair enough. The only bit that bothered me was the not tracking by Tesic. And for me, he has done how he is in every other game. I can allow him that, even in the context of that football match, because I think he'll bounce back from it. I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face. You know, if you're with someone for 3 or 4 years, you love her. You absolutely love her. She's the best thing since sliced bread. You know, if she does something reprehensible, like cheat on you with your brother, it's not a projection, by the way. Never happened to me. Me and my brother don't roll like that. That's a reason to leave.
They just high five afterwards.
But if she sort of like one day, like, I don't know, shrinks your favorite pair of jeans, that's no reason to end the relationship. As an example, same for women out there. You know, if your guy cheats on you, leave. If your guy does something horrendous to you, leave. But you know what? If he says he's going to be home at 7 o'clock at night and he bowls in at 7:30, don't end the relationship because the train was delayed or because he stayed for one extra drink. Man United fans have got to calm down. You know, for me, I look at it this way, that the attack on Bruno this week, in my opinion, was nothing short of embarrassing from Man United fans. Rivals, I expect it from. I have no issue with what they do. But from Man United fans, I thought, damn you. And they moved the goalposts because it went from he'll never win you a trophy to, yeah, but he wasn't the best player in that final, was he? Oh, yeah, but the manager's moving him out to the right-hand side. That means he doesn't trust him. What, you telling me Sir Alex Ferguson didn't trust Wayne Rooney because he moved him out to the wings in games? Shush, man. Like, it's the most utterly ridiculous breakdown of a player.
Yo, guys, I think Terry would leave just for Bruno. You know, that's all I'm saying. The way he's like not talking about him, eulogizing. That's all I'm saying. I can see it.
Listen, do you know what it is for me? Like, I put a lot of faith behind my players. If they show me, generally speaking, if they put faith in my club, because my club comes first, I can forgive people's mistakes. As I said earlier, Arsenal fans stood by Tony Adams when he went to prison for drink driving. Chelsea fans stood by John Terry for a lot worse.
Thomas Party.
You know what I mean? Like, there's loads of if you can look at all people are telling me it's embarrassing that I'm standing by a player who dives in games. Yet their club's standing by people that have done far worse than that, you know, and the same as that. You know, do you know what I mean? Like Arsenal love Xhaka again after he swore at them all. You know, which again I think is what is worse than what Bruno did. Although I think Xhaka had provocation for that. Xhaka had every right to do it for what Arsenal fans were doing to him. But it's crazy to me. I want to do some of these super chats, boys, here for a second. Here, this says, I love him. Sorry, about David De Gea. Sonny in the mud after saying United can't bounce back from that Liverpool.
He's a prick.
Yeah.
I didn't have ads. It's so hard when someone's not on camera because you don't know whether they're ready to talk or not. But listen, whether it was Sonny or Igal, they were all talking like this is going to derail your season. You're going to fall apart.
Over.
We literally just battered a team who I think have got more points after 24 games than Liverpool this season in La Liga. We just battered them 4-1. It could have been 5 or 6.
Terry,
we're not going to play well again.
We've beaten 3 of the top 5 teams in Spain this season.
Forget that. It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. I don't think that matters at all. The fact that after 7-0, you put in that performance 4-1 when everybody expected you to be down. It doesn't matter who it was, by the way. You're not going to, I'm sorry, you're not going to play the relegation team in Spain. You're going to play a team that is fighting for top 4. I think this is Liverpool behind. It's done. It's over. You're only going to take the banter from Liverpool next preview in the next year. But I think this win is we moved on, done. Yeah. Let's focus on what's coming in.
And you know who I think else has moved on? I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka has moved on from wherever he had last season. He's moved on from that. But this guy, he's won me back. I thought it was honestly, I thought he was finished. I thought this brother is not serious. He doesn't want to improve. He's stagnated for 2 seasons, and he's gonna get sold in the summer or get sold at some point, and we'll see him just do what he normally does.
I called him not a footballer, KG, at some point. His touch was atrocious. Everything was atrocious.
I don't know what Erik Ten Hag has done, but the guy, I love him again.
I never gave up on him. I always knew he was a player.
I respect you because the way man were moving, it was easy to. But like honestly, the way that it's just his defending, his decision making on the ball is improved so much, and he has stopped trying to do things he's not good at. He knows he's not the great at crossing, 24/7 cross. He knows he's not great at that, but he's limited the amount of times he crosses. And now he plays the passes on the inside. He links up the play. So honestly, so much better than Delo right now. If you told me which one would you want to pick to stay at Man United out of 2, I'm picking Aaron Wan-Bissaka right now.
Facts.
Do you know what's crazy? Ads. I remember me and Ads on Twitter chatting to people about this a few years ago. I don't dislike Delo. Delo's come back and been a lot better than I expected him to be. But do you know why Delo gets the ratings? Because Delo is one of those footballers who looks good even when he's playing badly, because he passes the eye test. And the eye test is a very dangerous way to judge a footballer. It's like judging a human being based on how nice they look, as opposed to their character, their behaviors, and their general attributes towards life. Just judging somebody on, oh, she's pretty, therefore she must be a brilliant person. He's handsome, he must be lovely. Well, Ted Bundy was pretty good looking. Do you know what I'm saying? And look how that ended up. And that's what a lot of these football fans do. They fall in love with Ted Bundy. They see a footballer that looks good and go, he's techie, bruv. He's a baller. It doesn't mean he delivers. AWB on the ball, we know there's still a lot that left to be desired. But we are playing in a system where our fullbacks, the left-hand side does it a little more, but we're not overlapping. They're going on the inside. They're inverted. AWB is in his element when he is not isolated regularly out on that right-hand side. The creativity is coming from Bruno drifting to the right from midfield. And then you get Antony and AWB cutting on the inside. And look, there's a lot of work to go. But you're right, KJ. He has been phenomenal. And when that's Ten Hag's biggest mistake on Sunday was not bringing him on at halftime. As soon as AWB came on, they had one shot in the whole second half, and it came through the middle. They didn't create a damn thing, and AWB was pivotal to that because they had to go somewhere else. And as soon as they started trying to go through the middle, Casemiro stopped them. They couldn't get down the left, that right-hand side at all, and they were stuck. And AWB's turnaround has just been nothing short of phenomenal so far.
That's twice in 2 weeks. You had the cup final where he came on and locked down that side again. And today he comes on again. And it would be easy for him to be like, well, Delo's been injured. I've been good. He's come back and straight back into the team. Like, this is unfair. I'm going to down. He can easily down tools. He can easily throw a drop and just drop his levels. But he hasn't dropped his levels. And we have questioned him a lot over the last season and a half. I think we can't question him. He's got the mentality, in my opinion. He's got the mentality. He may not show it, but he's got the mentality. And if Ten Hag continues what he's doing with this guy, I'm telling you, we will have a top fullback. I don't need Trent. I don't need Trent on my right-hand side.
Bro.
I don't need Reece James on my right-hand side. I need someone who can fit into the system, defend well, and play the ball when he needs to play well. I need me Spider-Man. That's what I need. Aaron Ramsey.
Fam, and you know what it is. If we really want to be honest about it, Dallo is mid, bro. What's it called? They say that his best attribute is going forward and putting crosses in. How many crosses does he actually hit his target for real?
Yeah, he hasn't been doing that recently still, I'll be honest. Yeah, it's true. He ain't been doing that recently. He ain't been going in that department. And I'll be honest with you, like I say, look, Wan-Bissaka, first season, one of the best players. Second season, I feel like he was quite underrated because of how well Luke Shaw was playing. I feel like his season went under the radar. Third season, he started off well, then kind of dipped because then obviously Radnick came in, chose Delo. But this season, he's just been completely different. And I think his offensive output it's been there because obviously there was that one season, like I said, his second season, he got 6 assists in all comps, which is actually quite impressive for someone who can't pass. When they were all saying that, but this season he's been better. And honestly, like KJ said, the mentality is there, and it's not just a mentality. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a mentality," but he has the mentality and the ability. When if you have both of them things, you're a proper player, and he's a proper player, and he's got a bright future.
I think as well, like this is it's all swings and roundabouts, and I think there's been some. Gary Neville kind of started this, where he spoke about how he loves the way Ten Hag's playing because it reminds him of Fergie and what he considers to be. You got to remember Gary Neville, love him or loathe him. He's watched Man United since before he even played for the academy. Man United's best teams, there was never a fixed style of play. We've never been Ajax or Barca or any of these teams where you just kind of know how they're going to play before you even watch the game. It's always been, we use wingers, we use wide players, but it could be 1 week with the aggressors and with a dominant team in possession. The next week we play counter-attack football. The week after that, it's a combination of the two. It's a team that will often get rotated quite a fair bit. You go, okay, well, we're going to have a special plan today for this player. That's how Man United have operated since Sir Matt Busby. I think some Man United fans want that Ajax, Barca, dominate the ball, have 70% possession, it look beautiful. Listen, we might end up evolving into that under Erik ten Hag. That may be the longer-term plan, but it may not be. The thing is, sometimes as fans, we rave about a manager because how we see him play at a certain club, but maybe Ten Hag's been dictated to, at Ajax, you must play this way. Maybe Ten Hag goes, I like that style, but I like the idea of having variety to the way I play things. And for me, it's going to be interesting to see how we move forward, because as long as we don't need a marauding fullback who needs to be able to cross the ball at a top-class level, AWB is one of the best in the world. No, there isn't a fullback in the world, in my opinion, that is better than him defensively. He used to get caught on the balls. It's true. He used to get caught on the balls a little bit, but I've seen that stop. And again, but how much of that was him, and how much of that was the lack of shape in an Ollie system? With all due respect to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there's so much. There's so much more for him to develop. I'm very, very excited indeed about that. There's a comment here that says Emirates renamed Coke Zero Stadium. Terry, you butte. Listen, everyone can do the banter. We live rent-free in the minds of Liverpool fans, and Liverpool fans rent-free in your comment sections. Terry, love the obsession. Yeah, I love it too. Listen, keep being obsessed, because you're not gonna wind up a true Man United fan tonight. Dan here says, FC. Exactly. Media and rival fans are praying that United fall apart with this manager. Not this time. We have the right man. Add Kane to this team, then wow. What do you think of that, Josh? Do you feel like if you had a Harry Kane or a world-class striker to this team, it goes to another level?
Absolutely. And I keep hearing people saying that Harry Kane's too old, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's Premier League proven, and he has the versatility, and we all know that Ten Hag loves that versatility. And people think he's going to get in Bruno's way. Me personally, I think he's an intelligent player. Both of them are intelligent players, and they're going to be able to figure out a way where they can both coexist and be effective. And I would love to see it. But also, I would also love to see Osimhen as well, because I think he would fit us pace-wise. So either way, and Ten Hag we trust.
But I want to add something about Harry Kane. Benzema, Jose Mourinho, when he took over Real Madrid, was playing Higuain over Benzema. Players can thrive in different systems with different coaches. And I think Harry Kane, if he goes to Man United, this is exactly the link you need. You watch Weghorst today, dropping, trying to be the number 10. And watch, if you watch Ajax enough, you remember that Tadic. When he played. Yeah. These guys are technically superior than everybody around him, even though they were the number 9s or you want to call them whatever you want to call them. I think Harry Kane is very good, that he will actually make the likes of Sancho, the likes of Bruno, the likes of Rashford score even more goals by him getting more involved in the build-up play, dropping deep, and allowing the wingers to play. You watch Ajax, their wingers were very dangerous because Tadic, and then after this Haller, was getting involved in the build-up play. I think Harry Kane is the right fit for Man United. Osimhen, though, I watch Osimhen week in, week out. Speedy, counter-attack, great touch, one of the best forwards around in the world right now. But if you want to play based on the evidence, Ten Hag's system, Ajax, you would want a forward like Harry Kane. And he still can give you 4 years, right? 30 years old.
True. Give me a striker that can turn. That's all I want. That's all I want. Because today, Weghorst in the half space was taking an age to turn around.
18-wheeler, an 18-wheeler turn.
You know what I mean? Ronaldo was the same thing. He's taking an age to turn around and run. Martial can do it, but his body would just break down after 20 minutes. Like, give me a striker who can turn, because if we do,
do you know what? It's funny. Not even that. There was a counter quite early on in the second half. We hadn't scored the second goal yet.
I know the one you're talking about.
And Bruno was on the inside of him, and then you had Antony on the right. The pass to Bruno got there, but it was so under hit. By the time it got there, and Bruno obviously looked up to make sure the space had been closed down. Those little things are massive in games, especially in the Premier League with the speed of play, the teams that sit back. Look, Usherman is different from Harry Kane, but the reason I want Harry Kane is because I see how well we play with Weghorst, but I'm just imagining Harry Kane getting the ball in those positions.
Exactly.
He in my opinion, is just as good a passer of the ball as KDB. I genuinely believe that guy can whip a ball around from those central, and I'm talking about those passes, not the intricate passes in close spaces. KDB's better. I need to specify. I mean, those diagonal balls out to the left and right, crosses into players if he drifts out wide. I think he's every bit as good in my opinion. If not, he's only just behind him.
Can you get both, Terry? Osimhen and Harry Kane. If you get Qatari
owners
coming in.
Well, we could.
Hell yeah, boy.
And equally, I don't think anybody gets in Bruno Fernandes's way per se. But if they do and we get better, I don't care. I don't. As much as I love Bruno, if we get rid of him and he sits on the bench and we then bring in players and we become better, why would any Man United fan in their right mind complain? I care about Bruno enough, but I do not care about him more than the football club. But I think to that super chat, Harry Kane takes us to a complete and utter another level.
How much would he cost, do you think?
I reckon anywhere between 50 and 70. I think it will cost to bring him in. Even though he's only got 1 year left on his deal, he's still. The thing with Harry Kane is you've got to factor in two things. He's very likely to score a lot of goals, but he's also England's captain. He is worth commercially a lot of bloody money. His image rights are. It's funny, really, because you've seen Ronaldo's deal, how much money he's getting paid and everything else. It's because Saudi Arabia now owns his image rights. That's why he's being paid so much. So they can theoretically use his image on anything within reason. So me and KJ, when we were out in Qatar, you saw players who had sold part of their image rights to Qatar. Like they were just like plastered all over the building, not even in like their Brazil kits or English. Like it was crazy, and it was like we were talking to people
like
out
Neymar.
There. Yeah, Neymar was one of them. Yeah, like he sold, but that's how he went. That's how he got the deal to go to Paris Saint-Germain. They essentially gave him £200 million to buy his own contract out, but they own his image rights. So that's why Harry Kane's image rights are very, very expensive. So you've got to buy them off of Tottenham, but Man United will make a lot of money back because he also signings like Harry Kane will also tick the commercial box. Whether we've got the Glazers or not, there's still an importance when it comes to the commerciality of a player. You've just got to make sure they're the right player on the pitch. And I think Harry Kane might be. This super chat here says, sorry, I've already done that one from Kane. He says, any concerns over Harry Kane's form in big games?
Get him out of Spurs and you'll see him perform in big games because the Spurs curse is so strong.
You don't know that, KJ. You don't know
No,
that.
listen.
Bro, look.
You've seen Conte, serial winner, win nothing.
Yeah, bro.
Jose
you know what?
Mourinho,
He's embarrassing.
Senior winner, win nothing. Pochettino at the time, one of the biggest, the biggest upcoming coaches at the time, playing the best football, win nothing. The Spursy curse is strong as hell. That's why
it ain't even a curse, mate. It ain't even a curse. Like these have had world-class managers, and I remember not so long ago, all these Spurs fans were on here saying, "Oh, Mourinho's not good enough for us. He's bigger than your fucking club. That's the problem. And Conte is bigger than your club. He's better." And you know what? You know what annoys me is when they say, "Oh, he's not good enough for us." No, you're not good enough for the managers that you man receive. So just pattern up, please.
You know what? I'll be consistent. I'll be consistent with mine. I am a little bit worried about Harry Kane's form at the top games, the cutting edge games, the win trophies or go home games. I am worried about that, to be honest. Me personally, I prefer Osimhen, but if Ten Hag wants Kane, I can see how he would fit into a system essentially as a replacement for Weghorst. And let's be real, if we had Harry Kane, today is 9-1.
Easy. Easy. But the one thing, okay, listen, I get people's reservation about Harry Kane. I have my reservation about Harry Kane. But in terms of the whole winning thing, he's clearly shown that he can't carry a team by himself on his back. He can only take them so far. I can hear that. But he's not like he's coming into United to be the only good guy in the team. He would have Casemiro behind him, Rashford on the wing, Bruno feeding him, Varane and Martinez not conceding as many goals. Like, there's going to be other players there to be with him. So what he may lack in this big game form that he's had with Spurs, it can be elevated by the players around him. And he, without the pressure on his head, he might just be good. You know what I mean? In those moments.
Also having a player in every line. Okay, so having Harry Kane up top as a captain, having Casemiro with his experience in the midfield, having Lisandro Martinez and Varane in the back line, and Luke Shaw as well. There's a lot of experience. That's so different than Spurs. That's very different environment. Playing with captains, playing with more experience. The pressure is not on you to carry the team. You are part of a bigger picture than Spurs. You are part of a club that is actually much bigger than Spurs. The pressure on you might be bigger than Spurs. However, that pressure is divided on other people around you. And also the manager has a big name as well in world football at the moment. I think it's going to be a win-win situation for both, for the club and also for Spurs, because he's not going to renew the contract and he needs to win trophy to keep his legacy up in the Premier League. Yeah, he might break the record, but you'll need a trophy or two in the Premier League. Like Van Persie is remembered with the Premier League he won with Man United.
Van Persie is a bigger United legend than Arsenal.
Kane, and do you know what I'd love as well? There is some banter in this for Tottenham fans. Imagine if he joins Man United and he breaks that Shearer record and he wins a Prem. He will be remembered as a United legend more than a Tottenham legend. Just like Teddy Sheringham played a lot more games and probably scored a lot more goals for Tottenham than he did Man United. But when you think of Teddy Sheringham, you think Man United because of what he did. Robin Van Persie,
he's a United legend.
He had basically, I know he had 3 seasons at Man United. He had, for me, he had one. Like he had one season and he's seen as a Man United player. That is what it comes down to. Like this season, honestly, like it's different with Jorginho at Chelsea because he won a Champions League with Chelsea. But you see what I mean? Like if he goes and wins a Prem and then a Champions League, he would end up being seen as an Arsenal player. Like you can turn when you imagine somebody, you can turn that around quickly. And that's why I think it's sellable. Give me 20 minutes in a room with Harry Kane and I'll convince him to join Man United with absolute ease.
Well,
I really
would. Just yourself, yeah, with words only, yeah.
Me, Harry Kane, and me, Harry Kane, and some crayons. Me, Harry Kane, and some crayons, and we'll get that done. We will. There was a super chat that came in earlier that says only Mbappe, Haaland, and Haaland have scored more goals than Rashford this season in Europe's top 5 leagues, in all comps. Now, top performing Europe's forwards, not wingers, forwards in Europe. Haaland is number 1 with 38 goal contributions this year. And Mbappe still sits second on 36. Rashford is now third on 35. Neymar is on joint 35 with him, but Rashford is, for some reason, they put him above. I think it's because he's won a trophy so far. Lionel Messi, 34, and Robert Lewandowski on 31. Rashford is ranked right now as the top 3 performing wingers and forwards. If it's in Europe, it means the world is the best. You know, we know our continent domestically is the best, club-wise is the best. He stepped up again tonight, Rashford, with a great goal. You know, this kid doesn't look like he's slowing down.
And you know what? It's not form because he's not playing like purple patch on fire. You can't stop him. He gets the ball. He runs through 5 people. He's literally ghosting in and out of games, impacting when he gets on the ball. If he gets one chance, he's going to take it. And then he might ghost out the game for another 20, 30 minutes. So there's nothing unsustainable about what he's doing right now. This just might be who he is, honestly.
I think there's only one winger in the world that is better than him, Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, to be honest. It's the only one in the world right now.
Wait, how you say his name?
Kvaratskhelia. Yeah. Kvaratskhelia. I think he's the one. I think the difference is Europa League is different than playing the Champions League. But that doesn't take anything away from Marcus Rashford because Ten Hag is using him as a number 9, as a winger, as a right side, as a left side. the guy is not fixed. The difference is most of the wingers around the world, they know their spot before the game. Marcus Rashford, probably one day before the game. No, you're playing right today, my friend. And we're playing Weghorst as a false 9 and you're a 9. You know what I mean? Like, I got to give it to Marcus Rashford. He's the player on form in the world right now after the World Cup. Nobody can stop him, and I'm happy for him. And I said that before. People were not happy with me when I said I'm happy for Marcus Rashford. He went through I dissed him many times last season and the season before, and I said weird stuff about that. But however, you can't listen. People in the chat are very like, you guys are like calling us because we change and we call us flip-flop. We call it what we see. Aaron Wan-Bissaka wasn't good, and now he's good. Marcus Rashford had a dip, and now he's performing really high. So we have to praise him. Credit when credit is due. It's as simple as that.
I would never get tired of praising my guy, man. I love this kid. I know he's 25, but I still call him because he feels like one of my sons. If I had a son, he would be one of them. Him, Ahmad, Pelestri, and Shola Shoatira are my children, and Ethan Led. Listen, the winger from Napoli, I was just gonna give him Kiva. I can't say this whole name, but he is being brilliant this season. But it's only the smallest sample. Literally, it's a small sample size. And the reason why Rashford, I love this guy so much, is because people love to discredit the seasons that he's done before. The build up to where he is now is you can't deny him as a young 18-year-old forward winger, whatever you want to call him. His GA built up every season, had a hard, very tough season with injuries, mentally, like everything was going on. Even he broke up with his girl that he's now engaged to. Like everything that year was just gone. You know what I mean? And the comeback that he's had, for me, is not a surprise because he was showing the trajectory anyway. The biggest surprise was last season. This is not a surprise to me. This was coming. This has been coming. And when people act like, oh, Rashford's only been good now. No. You're being disingenuous to the growth that Marcus Rashford has been on for the last how many years.
Yeah.
So
everybody knows what I think of Marcus Rashford, and I'm a bit. I think you said it perfectly there, Cage. Like last year was the shock, but there were some people that said no. This was my proof. I always told you he was a bad footballer, and I do get the point. You know that Rashford for me. I'm just putting up the facts of what he's done. I totally understand that the other players in that list have got goals in the Champions League this year, and it's more difficult. However, 15 of his goals are in the league over here. I think looking at it again, 15 of his goals are in the league. He's got 6 goals in the EFL Cup, 1 in the FA Cup as well. So 21 of his goals and 7 of his assists have come in England. That's the same place that Haaland plays. It's the same level of teams that Haaland's been playing against. So I'm not going to sort of slag it off too much. 1 of his goals in the Europa League. 1 was against Real Betis, who were 5th in La Liga. The other was against Barcelona at the top of the Liga. So I'm not going to completely discredit it because some of it's in the Europa League. But we also saw 2 seasons ago when he had his best ever goal scoring season. The man had 6 goals in the group stage of the Champions League. So we know he can do it there. And I think that I've got no qualm in my mind. I think Man United, if we were in the Champions League this season with how we're playing, we would be making our way. If we were in Chelsea's position instead, we would be in the quarterfinals, and I think Rashford would be scoring in that competition as well. And I'm just proud of this kid because, as you say, he come through a lot of adversity, a lot of pressure. Forget the media, his own, just like Bruno is going through today. And I think that's one of the reasons why Rashford really stood by him this week. Rashford's been here where he's had a percentage of his fan base, a very noisy, uneducated percentage of his fan base attacking him. Not just, I've got no issue with, for instance, Saeed. Saeed just said he don't think he's good enough. That for me isn't a problem because you're just giving an opinion. But it was the constant abuse from his own players, which I could not understand, fathom, or ever get my head around. It didn't make any sense why you were doing it because that isn't going to make him any better. It was crazy. So yeah, what he's doing is phenomenal. And again, just every type of goal this kid's scoring. And I actually thought he had a pretty decent game. My only concern is he is looking tired. And what I really hope and pray is that he pulls out of this England squad in the international break and has 2 weeks with his missus, somewhere warm, feet up, resting, because we need this guy. And listen, we've played 25 games since the World Cup ended. When you compare that to Saka, who, you know, pound for like, has been compared to him a lot this year. Saka's played 30. His team's played 13 matches. I think Saka started them all. So, like, he's played 12 more games. He's played 12 more matches. You add the minutes up. I don't know if he's played 90 minutes in all those games, but he's probably played what? Nearly 1,000 more minutes than Saka, who plays every minute for Arsenal. That's why I'm comparing it. He needs a little bit of a rest now, I think, because as great as all the goals are, I don't want to see him burn out. And he's just looking a little bit slow over that first half yard at the moment. And I think that's a little bit of fatigue. But equally, that's why we need the Antonys and the Sanchos and everybody else to start stepping up, because you know,
Pellistri we got to talk about, because boy, he looks good.
That turn when he came on, he did look very, very good. He looked very, very good.
And every time he's played, he's looked good as well. Huh?
Yeah, I said to my dad, he came on the pitch. I was like, Dad, he will get a goal and an assist in this game, and officially he has not got an assist, but he made that goal. And that is what I expected from him. He is a quality young player. Ten Hag's doing the right thing with him, not putting too much pressure on, keep pulling him in, pulling him out, slowly building him up. Because remember, he had his debut. He had his World Cup debut before he had his United debut. You know what I'm saying? Which is insane. Thanks. But I love what's happening with him. I want him to get more game time. We have Garnacho on the left hand. We've got a Pellistri on the right hand. And hopefully, if Ahmad comes back fit and firing, we have another young player that we can look and be like, okay, how do we develop these guys further? He needs more game time. I think the Europa League, especially in his second leg now, you're going to start seeing more and more of Pellistri. But he's again, another option on the right that's different to Antony. He can be basically the right-handed side of Garnacho. Someone who's direct, works hard, and will put the ball in the box because he's right-footed. It just feels good to have a right-footed player.
He's got a bright future because he's got a bright future because I said this 2 seasons ago. I think I tweeted it out. I don't know if I deleted it or not, but I did say that he's got potential during the preseason last year. A couple of years ago, and everyone was like, "No, it's just preseason. It's just preseason." I told this kid's got potential, man. And even recently, I know KJ obviously said, assist or goal. It's still an important goal contribution. Every goal in this stage matters in this competition, and I don't think people realize it until they've actually reached it. You know what I'm trying to say? So the fact that he's doing it at his age right now, even just a little goal contribution, supporting it at his age, is still very impressive at this level, and I think he's got a bright future there.
I mean, sadly for him, I don't think it goes down as an assist because McTominay shot first, and it was almost perfect. I mean, I was so happy Weghorst got it, but if McTominay put it away, what a double substitution! Like setting each other up. And listen, I think he's got the bit between his teeth because he kind of weirdly came in with a mad. None of us knew who they were. We were all excited by that, and then we never got to really see either of them kick a ball for us, which has just been a very strange turn of events. And I would say, listen, I think Ten Hag's done great. Where I would slightly criticize him is that the likes of Pellistri, I think, should have been given more opportunities in some games. But you know what we did today, which is different? We've been very good in a lot of matches. We haven't killed enough teams off. And I think that's something that I think, again, is impacted the legs later on. That we've played all these games since the World Cup, which is hard. But you want it because it means we're progressing in every top competition. But there's been a lot of games where we've been the better team, but it's still only 1-0. So you got to keep your best players on. And you might get that second goal. So quite a few games, we got the second and third goal in the 90th minute. And it was almost...
earlier.
Yeah, even like there's a game where Rashford got a brace in it against Charlton. If we'd have put that game to bed, Rashford wouldn't have even come on. So yes, he'd have 2 less goals, but he'd have 30 minutes more in his legs. And I just think that the players need to kill some of these games off sooner so we can bring some of these youngsters on. One, so they can express themselves and get a feel for it. Secondly, we've got to get some rest into Bruno, Rashford, Casemiro's legs where we can. And it's just getting that balance right, really. But yeah, overall, like really proud of that young lad that came on and did his bits. This is clearly not good enough, but I just love Weghorst. And that's a great segue. Talk to me, Mo, about Weghorst. What is your view on him as an outsider looking at United?
I think it's good enough for what you want to do this year. Listen, you're going for the cup. You won the cup with him in it. You're progressing against the Barcelonas, the Real Betis in Europa League. You're third in the league. Yes, you lost the game against Liverpool, but who cares? Were you gonna win the league this year if you had another 40 million forward? Probably not. You're still a little bit early for that. So in terms of money, you were a little bit in shortage of money. You didn't have a lot of money, so you got the I think he's okay. And Ten Hag knew him. He wanted him. He worked with him before. And I think it's working. Yes, he's missing a lot of chances. But I'm looking at his link-up play, and I think, oh, you're doing the job that the manager, and you're allowing Marcus Rashford to thrive. You're allowing Garnacho to come in and thrive behind you when you're linking up the play. I think he's doing enough of job. People thinking that Weghorst needs to be Van Persie or Wayne Rooney or Cristiano Ronaldo. No, he doesn't have to be. He just does the job for the manager. Are you winning games? Yes. Were you in the best form before Liverpool? Absolutely. Was Weghorst starting every game? All the answers are yes. People are looking at it from Liverpool's game perspective, but Barcelona, he played both games. You progressed. Again, it's top of the league in La Liga, 7 goals only conceded. So he's doing the job. I don't know why people are like, oh my God, we need better. You don't have better. Martial is injured, bro. Just live with it.
You know what it is? It's just, I've never seen a guy try so hard to score a goal and not score. You know, it's like,
no, but maybe he's not in the side to do that, and it doesn't look like it.
Listen. I know. I've been a big critique of Bobby Firmino at times because he was score. It's a chance that you miss. I'm all for false nines being there, but if you're in the middle of a goal, you score. You know what I'm saying? And that's been Weghorst's problem. It's not the amount of chances that that he gets. It's the quality of chances he misses is my issue. So going forward, would I want to see Weghorst here full time? Maybe if his job was Fred the Red, the mascot, I would love that. But he's too tall for the suit. So no, I wouldn't want him full time. But for what he's doing this season, I will support him. I will support it. He will be frustrating lots of times in games. But if he's doing the job that needs to be done with his pressing, with his work rate, for a season where he's helped us win he got an assist in a cup final. You know what? Cool. Let him do the job, and then we can do.
And it's Marsh, KJ. It's Marsh. There is nobody else. There's nobody else coming.
This is the thing. I love what Mo was saying here. There's things about Weghorst I'm angry about in terms of the amount of times he gets the ball and you're like, right, easy ball, and he tries it and it's accurate but no pace, or it's got the right pace but it isn't accurate. And there's all these little things that kind of happen and kind of go wrong. But then you've got to sometimes go back. And I saw a very salty person tweet earlier tonight, and I think I may have liked the tweet or bookmarked the tweet. To go back to it later, I may have forgot to. I think I forgot to. But it basically was a picture of Weghorst missing that chance that Luke Shaw set up earlier on in the game. And he said, just remember, everyone, Man United bought Weghorst, ha, 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 because he scored a brace against Argentina. And it's like, no, we bought him because Ronaldo had to leave and Martial's very, very injury prone. And the club inquired, look, we tried to get Gakpo, but he chose Liverpool because Liverpool at the time was still seen as a better option than Man United, and we all understand it because of what, their manager and where they've been. The other players were unattainable. The clubs wanted far too much money, and it was viewed as the main target for the summer were not available in January. So you're not going to drop £80 million on a striker that is 5th on your list when your number one choices are available in 6 months' time. That's bad planning. Man United have done that before, and it's caught us out. We bought him on a £2 million loan for the rest of the season. And I think for what he cost and the circumstances that led to us, remember, the only reason we had to go for him is because of the 4 failed projects before he arrived by other managers and the Glazers, because the Glazers have run out of money because of the failed projects they sanctioned, and because Cristiano Ronaldo was butthurt because he was no longer good enough to lead the line for Manchester United. That's why Weghorst is here. So when you look at the scenario, how much he's cost, and the fact that it is a short-term fix, he has done phenomenal. He is not a very good footballer by the elite level standard, but he has come in my opinion, and for all things being equal, he's done an excellent little job. And you know what? I want to win the trophies because I want my club to win them. But if he walked away this year with 2 or 3 trophies, it would, for me, just as a side story, I'd be so, and then we might not sign this guy. We could legitimately not sign him in the summer permanently. But what a short, like I think he'd almost become a cult hero. He'd be the kind of player in 10 years' time would come back to Old Trafford or something, and you'd all cheer his name because you'd be like, listen, Henrik Larsson became a coat hero at the club for playing like 4 games in a January that helped us go on to win a league title. So listen, I love, as much as Weghorst annoys me as a footballer, I kind of love him. It's a weird love-hate relationship I have with him.
It will go down as probably one of the most beautiful loan signings we have seen in football. The way my man celebrated today, I was there. Just like, yes, right. Like, I was there cheering with him. You can see, like, that's one thing you don't get from a lot of footballers. You can generally tell he just cares about playing for the club. He don't care what he does, as long as he's giving his all for the team. I can do nothing but respect that and just pray every time he plays that he just scores, because he needs all the prayer that he can get, because bro, he's giving me Forlan and Ramadal Falcao vibes, and I just need him just to do well for his mental health.
You know what's crazy? You say that, right? Those players are exponentially better than him ability wise, but his impact for us as a club has been better than Falcao, better than like, he's done better for us than those players did. Like, they all scored more goals, but they made out, for one reason or another, I'm not blaming them, it was because the projects, they weren't the right guys. This guy's come in and landed us, helped us win a trophy, and he does it. What he's done really well as well, he's kind of, I think he's shown us the blueprint for what the manager wants from a number 9. That's why I listen, we might go and sign Osimhen, I could be wrong. That's why I feel like Harry Kane's the guy, because Harry Kane is just the A class to what a Weghorst is. But you're saying about his passion. Look at his face there after scoring the 4th goal in a 4-1 win in the first leg of a Europa League game. That's someone who gives a damn. And you saw the reaction of the players to him afterwards. They were so happy for him. It was ridiculous. And I love that. Pav's here with us now. How are you saying, Pav? Long time no speak, bro.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'll be honest, it's going to take a lot more than beating Real Betis to forgive some of them players from Sunday. But it's a good win. Before the game started, I was like, I need to see a minimum of 5 goals just to like get me a little bit happy. And we all won off short. And the first half, it wasn't that great. A lot of like misplays and passes from everyone, especially the midfield. And obviously Rashford scored a stunning goal. And it was probably one of the early goals that I probably celebrated, because Rashford's obviously been carrying the front line the whole season. Obviously, you lot are talking about Weghorst. I'll be honest, I think the man's a giraffe, and I don't want him at the club after the summer. Like, he reminds me of a giraffe. Like, it is what it is. He moves like a giraffe. He's pretty much tall as a giraffe. But it's what we got. It's what we pay for. Like, obviously, there's been a lot of PR stuff with him this week. The whole thing about the touching the Anfield badge and all that. Like, I know he's the only player to ever do it, but the way some people are going on about it, it's like they're looking for any reason to attack anyone at the minute. But it is what it is. He's not going to be here, and I don't think Ten Hag will take him on permanently. And I don't want him here as a 3rd or 4th striker. Him and Martial can go. We need to start bringing in better quality, better young players. Even with, like, you lot talking about Harry Kane. I'm sick of signing 30-plus-year-old players up front, man. I know, like, he's banging in goals, but when it comes to, like, clutch matches, the guy's never done anything, like finals, internationally and domestically. But I wouldn't be angry if we did get him, because he will score goals. But when it comes to them big matches, if you don't perform, then questions will get raised.
You're killing me, man.
Mate, I'm just being honest. It's got to a point where I've seen my team getting bashed by Man City and Liverpool every year.
I hear you,
and it's like, I need the top quality players at this club.
I hear you. I think this is the thing, though, right? There's different ways of doing rebuilds. Man United as a club, we can't do what Arsenal did and build something that takes 3 years to get it, 3.5 years until it starts challenging. United have to win whilst rebuilding, and we're doing it this year. So as much as, and this is where people look, listen, if we've got the Glazers still in the summer, my mindset will be different. If we've got no debt in the Qataris, it doesn't matter if we buy a 30, 31-year-old Harry Kane, who's brilliant for 3 or 4 years, because there will be the money to buy whoever is the next best.
Yeah, I mean, I get that point. If you've got the money, then you can replace people.
Yeah. So that's why, for me, though, I would say to people, hold back on the worry about how are we going to replace Casemiro and Kane at 30 if we buy them now, Varane in a few years' time, when we know more about what the new ownership looks like. Because we will be able, with no debt, to buy anybody we want. There'll be, barring players that are at clubs like Liverpool that will never sell to us, everybody's attainable. So, and as long as but if we're winning Premier Leagues and we're challenging for Champions Leagues and winning Champions Leagues, it's even easier for us to sign the best of the best to replace these people. What I don't think we can afford to do is go, right, Harry Kane's available, Casemiro's available, Varane's available. But what we're going to do is buy a 21-year-old that might become as good as them in 3 or 4 years' time, because you may never get there. And at the same time, you might miss out on a few stars. And I just think United have got to do it their way. And I think our way is developing young players. Look, we've got a lot of young players we're developing that we've got to get right. You've just got to get the balance right. And look at Arsenal this year. They didn't add players as old as Harry Kane or Casemiro, but look what's happened when they've added the older players to that mix. You know, it's the Parties and the Jesuses and the Zinchenkos of this world who are giving them that solidity through the middle and that spine to get them to where they are. And in the summer, they're going to buy young, but they're also, in my opinion, going to go and buy some more experience as well. So you got to get the balance right. But
let me ask you, do you think that little bald pigeon, Daniel Levy, is even going to let us buy Harry Kane?
Yeah, I think this will...
After what happened with Berbatov.
So I don't think... Yeah, listen, I'll be honest with you. I think this is more about Harry Kane. I think if Harry Kane... If he says, I'm not signing a new deal, as long as it's done respectfully. So if they do what they did last time and announce it publicly and play golf with Gary Neville and do an interview, maybe not. But if they handle it properly, they keep it behind closed doors, I think they can come to an agreement, if that makes sense, if the money's right. But I do hear you. I do get where you're coming from. And I also understand what you said earlier, Pav, around you want it. I was a bit like that. It took me until the 4th goal until I was like, right, I felt like I've had something now. Now we have to go and beat Southampton. Then we have to knock out Real Betis. And then we have to knock Fulham out of the FA Cup. If we do all those things up until the international break, then for me, I can completely, in every capacity of me, let go of that Liverpool defeat, because then we're back on track in everything. Does that make sense? And whatever else. But I do hear you. I was in a lot of pain. Watching this game, I'm not going to tell you, I was so scared of doing this stream if we didn't win and win well. I honestly was so scared because I knew what the chat would be like. I knew what my DMs would be like. So I was happy the boys did that for me tonight, because I was.
It's funny how all the people who have slated us since Sunday, their teams haven't won a game so far. But I mean, Chelsea fans were pretty quiet, but I mean, Tottenham and Arsenal fans, you ain't really talking much at the minute. You know what I mean? Arsenal fans were like predicting this whole Sporting Lisbon game was an easy win for them when the draw come out, and you couldn't even do your job today. And Tottenham, I mean, the less we speak about them, the better. I mean, you know what I mean?
The fact that you speak about Spurs is actually like kind of, you're not on the same level as Spurs. Man United are way ahead of Spurs. Come on. You can talk about Arsenal. You can talk about Arsenal.
Understand? We weren't chatting about Spurs until them man come to our door with a fake chest like they can do something. That was the issue. That was all the issue is. I was cool with Spurs. But them man was saying, listen, them man said, Erik ten Hag ain't going to do much for you. Casemiro is too old and overpriced. We will win a trophy before you, bro. Like, they were saying all of this, and I'm just like...
And you listened, KJ. That's the problem.
Yes, I did listen. That's why I'm coming back.
You bought it.
Because it's disrespectful. Do you know, by the way, we featured him today. Have you seen... I don't know his name, but he did that song about you signed Ben White, we signed Christian Romero. Oh, yeah. This guy's a rapper. He's done a response to Troops. Like, listen, it's funny. It is funny. This guy can seriously drop bars as well, calls him the B-Tech expressions and all sorts in it. It's proper mad. You got to go check it out. Like, I'm not getting involved. Well, I say that I will, but it was a madness to me. Sunshine's here with us now. What you saying, bro?
I'm good, man. How's the panel? How's everyone getting on?
Well, man.
Much happier today than Sunday.
I'll tell you that, bro. Flipping, Jesus Christ. Mate, that game today, the result was needed, man. The performance wasn't really up there, but I think we don't have many big mentality monsters in the team that can just have a straight bounce back like that. We saw it with Fergie's teams where, we saw him get thumped up against City, 6-1 or whatever it was. The next game it was like, no, you're on fire, you're on smoke. I didn't see that today. I felt like, when we scored the goals that we scored, obviously the Rashford goal, we kind of went in ourselves again. We kind of thought, right, this is okay. We got a little bit complacent again, and I've got to be realistic sometimes. I feel like I got carried away, and in a good way as well. That this team could keep impressing me and keep doing more, and there'd be even more to come from this team. But I feel like we're just reaching a ceiling now, and I feel like we're just getting over scraping a couple of results. Yeah, the scorelines are flattering and looks like we're dominating, but I just think we're managing our limitations at the moment with these games. And I think for where we're at right now, we've done absolutely incredible. And we have to have new expectancies for this squad and this team and this management for this season, as opposed to what we had at the start. But I just feel like we're just flaking a little bit. You know, like them pound bakery pastries where you get 2 for £1, and like the pastry's falling, but you know the inside's still there. I feel like I can still taste the inside, but we're flaky, man. Do you know what I mean? Like more time, I'm gonna dash it and go Greg's.
What's your new expectations out of curiosity?
For me now, so third has to be the least we can be in this team, in this table, like third, and that's including us getting another trophy, including the Europa League or the FA. The only reason I say that is not because I think we're the best team in the world, etc., etc. It's just that this club has shown me, especially against adversity, that these standards are reachable and are realistic. And I think that is a realistic state for where we're at right now. If we get it, if we don't get it, would I be disappointed? Most definitely, because I feel like this team has showed me that you should be able to go and do this. When I look at the whole season, I'm not going to be upset if we don't, because I remembered what my expectations were at the season. So I will be grateful, but I'll be like, you know what, next season, I do expect that you are, in the same position that you are this season, where, 4 competitions in, boom, bam, bam, winner, chicken dinner. That's what Man United do at this stage of the season. You should be in 3 competitions or 4 competitions. There is no, I'm playing too many games. That's where we should be.
We're saying that, I agree, but because we are in so many competitions, that's why I'm okay with us being flaky. Because I know we're not the complete squad yet. I know we're not the complete team yet. The system isn't perfect. Ten Hag hasn't got the entire team that you would want, entire squad that you'd want. So because I expect us to be flaky, I'm okay with us getting through these games as long as we're getting through. Obviously, what happened on the weekend, less said about that. We can move on from that now, personally. But to be, I get where you're coming from, but like to be kind of like, I'm not too sure. I just like, hey, listen, we're already ahead of where we expect to be anyway. We just keep riding the wave, man. We keep riding the wave. The next season, I think that's when we can start to be like.
I think for me, KJ, like I was saying about 2 weeks ago that I know a lot of people saying United were back, and the signs that you'd look for in the team in terms of that resilience and dominant performance and getting results when not necessarily you're probably going to deserve them, but you still managed to do enough to get over the line, do it convincingly. I was still in a situation where I thought we have to beat Barcelona and get through. We then have to go and lift the trophy. And then if we tump Liverpool, and I mean tump them like 4-5, no, I know it hasn't happened, people, yeah, so cool, wicked, safe, blessed, whatever. But I said, if we tump them, and send them to the shop for whatever, and then send them back again with change to go get extra stuff, then I'm like, okay, I can then with my chest say, yo, you need to take us seriously. I was taking the team seriously enough, but I thought that game would tell us a lot because we haven't done well at Anfield for a while. There's a lot of mental blocks within our team when we turn up to Anfield, and this team, based on form especially, was an opportunity for us to at least see if we could go toe-to-toe, same way we did with Arsenal, although they got their upper hand and respect and they deserved the win. Like, this was an opportunity. The only belie I can give this team is the simple fact that we played 11 games over such as 31 days or whatever. The performances before Liverpool, although I don't believe 7-0 is a representativeness of tiredness, I do believe that if you're going to lose that game, at least lose it 3-0 with some dignity. And then revisit the board. So there's still a long way to go, but we already knew that anyway. And like KJ said, where we're up to already, we're super exceeding expectations. Everything else is a bonus. But because we are there now, we should still have higher standards because they've shown us that we should expect more.
I think for me, like the only bit that I kind of disagree with there is the going to Anfield and battering them, because we just never do that. Even our best Fergie teams against terrible, we never do that. So for me, it was a case of, can we go there and get a victory? Winning at Anfield wasn't an indicator that we would be back. For me, I'm not really looking any more at individual moments. Yes, gateway moments like getting into finals, winning finals. If we were going to Anfield and it was a chance to go top, and we lost, then it'd be like, oh, we didn't quite deliver. But going to Anfield is hard for us, no matter where we're kind of at. For me, I just sort of feel like we're on our way to being back, is how I would describe it. And we know that because we're winning. The win percentage is at nearly 75% this year, where on average, since Fergie retired, the win percentage has been at 55%. So we're winning two more out of 10 games than we were. And it's only got to be a handful of percentage higher, and you're in a title race. So we don't need to improve that much more than we are. You've got to remember, Arsenal are only 15 points better off year on year, and they're top of the league. That's not a huge jump in points. When you look at some of our games, you think about the Palace game and the Leeds game at home, an example, the first 2 games of the season. I look at that and think to myself, this team improves in the summer. You can win those games. And look, you'll also drop some points because there'll be some other games where we maybe didn't quite deserve to win and you grab the points. So it's hard to judge, but I think we're on our way. I think we're on our way to being back. And how I know that is 2 things. One, the wins and the trophies and togetherness, but rival fans, how they have reacted to us winning a trophy. Fans, a club that did a parade including a Carabao Cup last year, their fans are saying it's meaningless. Their fans were over social media saying, why are you celebrating so hard? Why are your players celebrating so hard? When you look at the pictures from last year, it was there. You've got Gooners who were at the last final they were at in the Carabao Cup, who were angry and said it was going to ruin their week because they didn't win it, now saying that it means nothing to them. You've got content creators of certain clubs who say it's a nothing trophy, who were at the last 2 or 3 because their clubs were in it, made that it meant enough for them to spend money to go there, but it suddenly doesn't mean anything. That for me is a barometer to know you're on your way to being back. If we got beat 7-0 even when we were bad, we would have got bantered. That doesn't bother me so much. It was the reaction to it not being about the game. It was the gals of this world that were like, it's going to be a mark on your history forever. You might not recover from here. You might collapse. You might fall away. This could be terrible. That there is hope. That is them hoping that it isn't a one-off bad freak result and that this is an indication that we're going to collapse, crumble, and fall away. So look, and the reason why as angry as I was with the players, I didn't lose my head after this result is because I feel we're in a completely different place now to where we were 12 months ago under Ralph, 18 months ago under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's a different world completely because of what we've gone through. Where my mind will start to change is if the Glazers don't sell. That's when you'll start to see a very different approach to the club, because I don't believe they'll ever see a project through to the end. I think new owners will. But listen, tonight was a great response. This is a Fergie-esque response. We had some bad results under Fergie. Never a 7-0, but we conceded 4 or 5 goals, 6 goals at times to people. And on nearly every one of those occasions, we were lucky enough to have a midweek game, either League Cup or Champions League. And we'd often bounce back with a win. I think we invariably bounced back with a win. We very rarely lost 2 games on the bounce under Fergie. And it was important to do it because Southampton is one of the easiest games of the season remaining, Southampton at home. We have to beat them because, we have to go into this international break because it's our last Premier League game with a win today, because the Liverpools and the Tottenhams and the Newcastles all play the following weekend. So we're going to end up having 2 games in hand. So we just need to make sure we win this. And that's why tonight was so key, because these players will go to bed tonight and sleep well. The players will not be thinking about the Liverpool game come Sunday afternoon when they kick off against Southampton. Now they'll be thinking that we're back on track, win that match, go into that international break 7 points clear of 5th place. And then I think Man United will be fine for finishing in that area and achieving that objective that you mentioned, Sunshine, because I'm like you. Start of the season, I would be happy with top 6 because of how bad we were last year. Now, I want 3rd or better because I think we've shown we can do it. So look, it's going to be a very, very interesting one for the rest of the season. Boys, I want to thank you all for coming on tonight and doing this show. I didn't realize it's been an hour and a bloody half. It's been a while. And barely no rivals came. Stephen was there for a bit and he signal kept on going, but no rivals tonight. That's a shame that you didn't turn up and win. But
surprise.
I know. But there we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.